This is Stories from Africa, brought to you by Msingi Africa Television. I'm your host, Choma Phillips. Thank you for joining us today. It is 2023. We made it. We're here. Thank God. May yours be a blessed one, filled with purpose, filled with intent, intentionality, deliberate steps taken to transform yourself and transform the community and the world around you. Events around the world the last 3 to 5 years have revealed a lot of what the globalists are planning and just how implicated national governments in Africa and around the world are, because they've all joined hands and made partnerships and affiliations and associations they ought not to have, but now they're in bondages that it's going to take miracles to break us free from. In the interim, all is not gloom and doom. As we said in our last video, there's actually hope, because this is the season of a fresh start. And in seasons of fresh start, opportunities abound for us to be able to overcome hurdles, and not just hurdles present, but hurdles in the future. Fresh start. And this is not, New Year's resolution psychosis. This is literal. We're staring at opportunities for us to make things new and make things amazing for ourselves and for our families and our communities around us. So what do? Well, take into account documents like Agenda 21. The link is in the description section below this video, where you can go and read about it. And all the plans in which people are formulating to try and get masses and masses of populations living in urban areas, in high rises and concrete environments, basically cut off from what makes the world so beautiful, which is all this amazing greenery, and makes people much easier to control and manage. Also makes you much easier to be exposed to certain elements that might not be so great for your health or for your lifestyle. And it is important for us to try as much as possible to retain a hold on land that is outside of cities, land that is in your family, or land that you can purchase somehow, legally, get your hands on and hold on to. Land that you can now then protect and purify where it has been contaminated, and try and restore to the greatest health possible, build a home in, and start to make for yourself and for your family a life that is self-sustaining, that is also lived in connection with your neighbors, in loving relationships where you can engage in exchange of goods. Maybe you guys are farming, and so you can exchange with one another what one doesn't have for the other, and support each other with water, and so on and so forth. The reason I speak like this is because the next few years, from 2023 up to 2030, are going to be crucial, because plans by the globalists are underway and intensifying, and their target date of culmination is actually 2030, when they will have a hold on very many of the things that we have considered our own liberties and probably even taken for granted for a long time. And what we have to do in response is make serious preparations in the next 7 years to make sure that we are as self-sustaining as possible. Meaning, if you can learn a craft, learn how to make your own soaps, learn how to make your own clothing, your own skincare products, and to have the natural resources that are required, the raw materials required for those things as accessible as possible, then you need to do that. You need to make sure that you can have a home that doesn't have to be sustained by electricity from what would be the national grid, water supply as well, the same. Just your basic necessities for life and living that will allow you the independence necessary to make decisions for your family that don't require you to go and sign up for a service that would lead you to some form of compromise. Because the system is getting stronger and stronger. And much as people don't like to talk about it, or like to say that it is some kind of fairy tale or just made up because it's in the Bible, things are actually reaching a point where there will be global government. And this global government is going to have everybody comply with certain requirements, including a one world religion, and a one financial system, and one health system. all the building blocks are being put into place: universal healthcare, a global digital currency, making all religions look like they are basically one thing and from one place, and that we should all just get along and hey, and it's all just wonderful, and let's all believe just one thing. Let's all live under similar rules and regulations, nation to nation to nation, concerning movement of people and goods, and restrictions against certain things which are now determined as legal for as long as it is convenient. I mean, if you look at the issue of marijuana and how it's now being legalized, whereas it wasn't before, and so people who were imprisoned because marijuana was illegal and now being set free, it's just a whole hot mess. But because the world has sat down to agree what their laws should look like, what education should look like, what family life should look like, what agriculture should be, what trade should be, what law should be, what health should be, and they've agreed on a global platform and have been implementing these things and calling them SDGs and MDGs. And so now we're developed because we have a cancer care center, as opposed to being able to eradicate disease naturally from our environments by taking simple steps like removing toxic chemicals from our world. Because people have embraced the lie, what has happened is the rules and structures and regulations have been put in place, and every person who should have been a free-thinking person is there nodding and saying, yes, this is a good way for us to live our lives together. Yes, it makes such great sense, and it doesn't.